At 122 North Rodney in Helena, Montana, there's been a laundromat since the 1990s. You'd think it has just been a place to wash your clothes, and that's it. But that's not the only thing that happens in this laundromat. People are drawn to the Rodney Street neighborhood and the businesses in this area, and sometimes in the most surprising and interesting ways. Like Marilyn Bennett, a story gatherer. Marilyn Bennett is an author, documentary filmmaker, and activist who was drawn to Rodney Street and decided to do a writer-in-residency at the Rodney Street Laundromat from 2005 to 2007.
And I would come here mostly on Sunday afternoon, and I'd put my sign in the window saying the writer is in, and the Queen City had done an article on me, or an introduction, and put my picture in, and I was sitting in a laundry basket. And so some people already knew that I would be here, and so of course my friends knew I'd be here, and so different people would come in, but the most people that I talked to, I met when I was sitting, doing my laundry, sitting under the window over there with my computer out, and people asking me, what I was doing and why I was doing it and things like that. And then I would just talk to them, and I would say, I'm really collecting stories and interested to meet people, and that's really it. So it was writing, and I had a Rodney Street Laundry blog, and so it was just a fun thing. And then friends that lived all across the country, they were like, yeah, she's a writer in a laundromat. So I really asked Sandy and Jackie, who owned it then, I wrote them an email that said, well, I know this is kind of weird, but that's just how I am, so this is the idea. Would it be okay if I was your writer in residence? And all that means is that I would sit there and meet people, and very spontaneous, just whoever started talking to me. So I do kind of go through life with the premise of everyone has a story, and what's that? And I want to hear those, because that too draws us together as in humanity, in community, where it's just, as simple as just telling stories and sharing those chapters of your life that people here don't know. And so allowing people to kind of validate the long life they've had. But then I would just be sitting in here not talking to anyone, so I would just write something about like the agitators in laundry, in washing machines, and how translating that into being an agitator in life. So it was fun, because I could write about images that, everyone could say, oh, right, you don't want to get your hands stuck in there when it starts, the agitator starts going. And, yeah, right. And there's little things, but those things somehow bring us together. If we slow down. Just sitting in a laundromat for a couple of hours, you slow down. And that's where you're able to find out things about people that you wouldn't in any way know. So that's really why I liked coming here, and why I chose it is because people are here and they're waiting around to put their stuff in the dryer or whatever, and people come and go to do that, but largely we're all just sitting around. So it was prime for stories.
Marilyn says Rodney Street is a special place, a place where people look out for one another, and that is what makes it a real neighborhood.
The neighborhood is interesting because so if you looked at the history of the neighborhood even, and all the historical markers on some of the houses and things, so you have the story of back then, and then you know, I guess if you've figured out how the neighborhoods and things developed over years, maybe what they were in the late 1800s, and then over those years, there's probably history. You can look up that history, I'm sure. And then you come to today and you think, well, why is this an area of town that has more diversity? And then I think, you know, we all gather in places where we know we're going to feel comfortable and we'll, you know, be able to watch out for each other.
And that is what drew Marilyn to Rodney Street, to be a writer in residence in a laundromat. Rodney Street feels more real than other places and has a wide range of characters that have a story to tell. Some stories Marilyn did receive.
It is a place where if you allow yourself, you can see your life and another person, they can see your or stories. You know, stories bring people together. When you're telling a story, you're telling your truth. And so as we listen to that, we acknowledge, even if we don't sit down and talk, there is a sense of you came from somewhere to this point, and tell me about it.
Marilyn thinks that opening up your life to try new things, even if you may think it's different or funny or strange, just do it.
Like, I think I want to be the writer in residence at the laundry. Well, you know, ask if you can do it or just start doing it. Yeah, just follow some of those whims and see, you know, now that's a part of my life, of their stories are in my life, and I'm richer for it. I don't want to, you know, just be a platitude or whatever, but my life is richer now.